100 plus countries around the world. Check this out. Today is a big day for us here in Detroit because the judge is supposed to make the decision on the pensions of the city workers. Well, that decision has already been given up, and the judge saying everything was constitutional and everything was legit. So now the pension of these Detroit workers is about to greatly be affected. Now, I'm going to head downtown and check out what's happening, and I'll see y'all in a minute. You're tuned into the Detroit Raw Show, only on YouTube and also on Social Cam.
Council 25 leader Al Guerra will be addressing us in a few moments. He's doing an interview. He'll be down here in a few minutes.
Hello.
That was it.
Premeditatedly going into bankruptcy court. It was clear that he digested everything that was said by the objecting parties, but he also had his own agenda that he was going to approve this bankruptcy under all circumstances. It didn't make a difference that Kevin Orr worked for Jones Day. It didn't make a difference that Kevin Orr was a bankruptcy lawyer. It didn't make a difference that Ernst & Young was held in a hope that managed our finances since we had emergency managers purposely withheld funding in terms of pension obligation. This to me is just a sham. It shows that we don't have any justice in this federal court, and it's my hope that the unions, the retirees, the citizens of the city of Detroit, and I must say that it's a farce to pull Craig, who's the police chief, and talk about him as though he had any credibility. Craig doesn't even have the right to be an officer of the law. Amen. I mean, he can't even carry a gun, and he comes in here, and then Judge Rowe gives him all the credibility of the planet. Oh, he said that they're dysfunctional. Why didn't you talk to the police officers who were put on 12-hour shift purposely? This stuff was set up, and it's been set up for the past year. And he clearly indicates that. He acts like he was sensitive to it, but every decision he made was in support of Kevin Orr and Rick Snyder. It was understood. He showed who he was. It wasn't fixed. He is a Republican. He is. I mean, it was very clear. And
no justice,
no peace. No justice,
no peace,
no concern. And we got people out here that's 80, 90 years old, worked 30, 35 years for the city of Detroit, and now you don't give any protection. You justify it. Well, there's no difference between impaired and diminished. It is the difference between impaired and diminished. If a contract cannot be impaired, but the pension rights cannot be impaired or diminished, you should have gave them more weight. And you don't think we're going to see through this? No. You need to read the demo, the bankruptcy that was wrote recently and released to the paper. It gives a much more fair and equitable analysis of what is happening in this city. This is a setup, and if you let it happen in Detroit, because you're not sensitive, maybe because you got some bias or even some prejudice because it happens to be a majority black city, it's going to happen to you too. So if you don't stand up now, it's coming to your door.
Cecily, spell your name. Cecily, spell your name on the mic.
Cecily McClellan.
Spell it and tell them who you are, dear.
I-L-Y. McClellan. M-C-C-L-L-A-N.
And who are you?
A retired City of Detroit employee from the infrastructure that Ms. Judge Rowe just talked about. Because I work for the Department of Human Services. Rick Snyder closed it down and moved most of it to Wyandotte, so the City of Detroit did not benefit from it. He closed down the health department. It's all scattered over the city, and the City of Detroit residents don't get the benefit. And he has the audacity to talk about we got to make sure that churches and the social service workers. That's the first thing they eliminate. It's about right now moving population out of this city. That's right. And that's why you got Dan Gilbert over our money to stabilize the city. And what does he call it? Blight. Because the whole way they see the city is about a blight. When we could stabilize our neighborhood. And I am also a union representative as well.
When did you retire? When did you retire?
I was forced in retirement July of last year, July 29th. Forced, Department of Human Services. They came in and sent down their state people to use false regulations to say we weren't compliant, use their media to repeatedly talk about the Department of Human Services and some furniture just to justify so they could take those dollars, about 45 million.
No justice.
This is nothing but a race.
Thank you. Welcome.
Residents of Detroit.
We have to stick together.
I'll tell you.
And we're going to be out in 2 weeks from today, and we're going to be talking about the same issues. Think the bank pays, they are the criminals there responsible for this travesty. Thank you so much. Please join us tomorrow.
This is not the federal court of the United States. It too is fabricated. Demons. How dare you use that sign? Turned it into a distribution center. Manufactured laws.
But I have a message delivered from the 700,000 residents of the city of Detroit and the 53% of Michiganders who voted against emergency management and voted not to have this type of power. Your ass is out of here in 2014. Mark my words. You will be thrown out of office. This is the last straw. This is the line that has been drawn in the sand. You have totally destroyed our city. You destroyed our state. You gave away money to all these businesses, and they just laughed right in your face. What you did in here today was unacceptable by all of the state of Michigan. The state of Michigan said that they did not want to help Detroit in its problems. The state of Michigan said they did not want to be held responsible for Detroit's failures. They didn't want to be held responsible, and you let them on the hook anyway. Where is the 700,000 people in the city that have stood for working a whole bunch all their lives and have not received anything and was told today that their pensions will be snatched away? It's indefinite. This is not life. This is not power. This is only a usurpation of the process of what we believed in our judicial federal government. It is unacceptable. And for that we say anybody who supported this bankruptcy, anybody who supported having the unions, having their pensions snatched away, will be held responsible, will be called out. Governor Snyder, your ass is out of here in 2014. Mark my words. If I have to go all over the state to rally people to go against you, sir, I will. If I have to go all over the United States of America to let people know that our pensions and everything has been taken and to get you out of here, I will do so. This is the last stand. This is the last straw. And we're not going to take that anymore. Everyone throughout these 50 states will realize that the union, that the citizens have the power. Democracy, madness.
Story the entire country is watching. What happens next in Detroit's bankruptcy battle?
Big question there. So we'll learn more about emergency manager Kevin Orr's plan to dig the city out of debt. For now, everything, we're talking everything, is on the table.
And we're talking about pensions and also the artwork at the DIA. Lauren Fidel is live with more on what's at stake. Good morning, Lauren.
Rhonda and Sean, good morning. And that's it. There are so many questions. What's going to happen to pensions? What's going to happen to the yard inside of the DIA? And what does a new reborn bankrupt-free city look like here in the city of Detroit? It's certainly a historic day for our city. And with $18 billion in debt, Judge Stephen Rhodes yesterday in federal court right behind me said there is no other way this city could get out of this debt without filing for Chapter 9. And he believes it should have come sooner, but here we are, and the road is going to be a long one. The green light to bankruptcy has officially been switched on.
It is not a new problem. It's a solution to 60 years of problems. So although it's very difficult and very challenging, it's a solution, and it's a solution that needs to happen.
So what's next? Let's start with the 22,000 retirees and their pensions. Ask Me already filed an appeal.
How am I going to go get a job by 66 with a back that's been operated on and a heart that's having problems?
An appeal bankruptcy experts say will likely go nowhere. Also in the next week, Judge Rhodes can expect more motions from creditors. But one of the biggest steps forward will come from the emergency manager, Kevin Orr, when he hands over his plan of adjustment.
Now the determination is going to be how are we going to resolve this case.
One of the biggest concerns, what is the fate of the art at the DIA? Judge Rhodes made it clear the collection is on the table, but in the same breath said selling it off won't fix the city's deep debts. The DIA is hopeful the EM will keep the art protected, but behind the scenes we're hearing the museum has a backup plan to raise money. We're talking $200 million to help foot some of the bankruptcy bill. And we should point out the idea of raising all of that money is still under negotiation with different foundations here in the city. And when it comes to retirees and their pensions, yesterday Emergency Manager Kevin Orr said he plans to be thoughtful, measured, and humane to try to give these folks here who are so worried a sense of hope. A word you're going to be hearing a lot for the next month is plan. And that's something that Kevin Orr is going to have to come up with, and we'll be watching and waiting for it in a month. Reporting live this morning outside of federal court, Lauren Podell, back to you.
A lot of people bracing themselves for what will happen.
Things happening quickly as well.